Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie and today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the books that I want to read before the end of the year. Now I have a ton of books that I would like to read before 2020. However, I don't actually have time to read most of them. These are all the books that I'm going to make it a priority to read before next year. First, I have Nevernight by J. Kristoff. This is an adult fantasy novel following assassins. That's pretty much all I know about this book. I like to go into my fantasy books pretty much blind or as much as possible, so I don't really know anything about this book except that it's supposed to be amazing. Everyone loves this book and I've been wanting to read it pretty much all year and I just keep putting it off and keep putting it off, so I want to actually read it before next year because I don't want to keep putting it off and then lose interest. So it needs to happen. Also, this book is stunning. I bought the UK cover because it's gorgeous. From what I've heard, this author writes very realistic, strong female characters, so I'm excited to read good representation. I hope I love it. And I mean, it's assassins. I love assassins. I love books about assassins. So if I don't like this book, I will be very surprised. And continuing on with adult fantasy, I want to read Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This will be my first Victoria Schwab or V.E. Schwab book. It's finally time I read this one. People have been raving about this book and about Victoria Schwab for years, and because they were so hyped, I didn't want to jump onto the hype train, but it's finally time I read some Victoria Schwab. Plus, everyone loves this book, so hopefully I do as well. This book follows two men who were once best friends, and together they discovered how to create superpowers, but since then they have had a falling out and now they're mortal enemies. And I'm excited. I love books about superheroes, so I'm interested to see Victoria Schwab's take on it. And again, with adult fantasy, I want to read Missborne by Brandon Sanderson. I probably won't get to the whole trilogy in the month of December, but hopefully I at least read the first book. This is another massively hyped series, so hopefully I'm not let down, but everyone loves Brandon Sanderson. I've never heard anyone say that they don't like this series, so I would be very surprised if I didn't absolutely love it. What's unique about the series is it is actually set in a world in which the villain won. In most stories, the heroes always beat the villains by some chance, but more realistically, the villain has to win at some point, and that's what this series is. So I'm interested to see that interesting spin on a fantasy world. This is one that has been on my end of the year TBR for like 2 years and I still haven't read it, so I'm going to be very disappointed with myself if I don't at least read this first book before 2020. Next, I have a YA fantasy, and that is The Winter's Curse by Marie Rukowski. This is another series that has been on my TBR for so many years, but for some reason I just never felt led to pick it up and read it. But for the last several months, it's been catching my eye on my shelves and I'm like, I think I actually want to give that one a chance now. This is a very well-loved old YA series, so I think I will like it. This is supposed to be a very political fantasy, and the story begins when the main character purchases a slave, and this sets off a series of events that disrupt the political world, I believe. So it sounds very interesting and unlike anything I've read, especially different from all the other books that were being released at the same time as this one. People love it, so it's time I give it a chance. The same can be said for the next series, and that is the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. I have been wanting to read this one for several years. Everyone seems to love this series. It's another well-loved old YA trilogy. What makes this series unique is it follows a princess who is trying to escape an arranged marriage, and she is on the run, being hunted down by two different people. One is the prince who is supposed to marry her, and the other man is an assassin who was sent to kill her. However, as the reader, you don't know who is the prince and who is the assassin, and I'm assuming you kind of fall in love with both male characters and you don't know which one is supposed to kill her, so that seems really fun, really interesting. Sounds like a ton of YA romantic angst, and I'm here for it. I probably won't get to the whole trilogy before next year, but hopefully I at least read the first book, Kiss of Deception. And lastly, I have a YA contemporary, The Chaos is Standing Still by Jessica Brody. This book follows a teenage girl who was trapped in an airport on New Year's Eve, and this is also the anniversary of her best friend's death. So it deals with a lot of grief, and I actually tried to read this one earlier this year, but I tried to read it around the anniversary of my dad's death, and I was very triggered by it. I had to put it down because it just was not the right time to read this book, but hopefully I'm in a better mindset now to pick it up and read it and be able to finish it, because what I did read I really loved, so hopefully I'm able to finish it this time. Although this book deals a lot with grief, it actually is supposed to be a really cute romance story, because while she's in the airport she accidentally runs into a really cute boy and they accidentally swap phones, and her phone is very important to her because it has all of the text messages that her best friend had sent her, so she wants her phone back and she has to track down this guy through the airport and try and find him in order to swap their phones back. I know it's going to be really cute. I know I'll really like it, so again, hopefully I'm able to actually finish it this time. And because it takes place on New Year's Eve, I feel like the end of December is the perfect time to read this book. Alright, those are all the books that I want to read before 2020. Let me know in the comments down below what books you want to read before next year. I know it's hard to narrow it down because there are just so many books that we all want to read. Also, I'm very much a mood reader, and this list could change at any moment, but hopefully I actually stick with it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more bookish content by me. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.